Get to it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast.
All right, I am here today with somebody who I can only think to call a legend. Even if it is only in his own mind. But
is Judy Garland here? Is Liza here?
A legend in my mind as well, probably in many people's. Leo Laporte, how are you, sir?
I'm great. It's so good to talk to you, Matt.
You as well.
Thank you for asking me to be on your fine show. I don't get enough podcast time.
People say that about you.
Actually, you know, it's funny. I'm semi-retired, which means I only do 5 shows a week.
There you go.
So
yes, it's good to slow down.
Yeah, it's good to slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the off chance there's somebody watching this who doesn't know who you are, the Venn diagram of people who are going to listen to the show and don't know who you are, I don't know if it overlaps, but just in case, who the heck are you?
Who am I? Who am I?
How did we get here? And in 2 minutes or less, what are you hawking so that people can fast forward 2 minutes and skip any sort of commercial stuff?
I'm not hawking nothing. So I am a recovering radio broadcaster, which you might have guessed from the fact that I have my hand cupped behind my ear. Many years. I started in college in 1976, so it'll be 60 years or something soon. It's ridiculous. 50 years soon. And did a little cable network some people might have seen called ZDTV, aka TechTV, for some time in the early part of this century, which sounds pretty wild when you say it that way. After that, I did a lot of radio about I think 18 years of nationally syndicated radio talking about tech. I was the tech guy on iHeart. And then when Tech TV kind of started to falter in the early 2000s, this new thing called podcasting came along. And since I was already doing a radio show, I thought, well, it's easy enough to turn it into a podcast. So in about 2005, this is our 20th year, I started a podcast network called TWiT. That's the only thing to plug. Just Google TWiT. And I think in most cases, I'm the first thing that shows up. People often come up to me and say, you know what TWiT means, don't you? And I said, yes, of course. That was the joke. It was kind of a self-deprecating acronym. It stands for This Week in Tech. And basically, we do a bunch of podcasts all about technology. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years.
It seems like starting a podcast network in 2005, I don't know that you could lose $500 million a year on it, but it seems like there were some risks.
Well, if it weren't so cheap, I wouldn't have done it. See, I had all the equipment as a radio guy, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big risk. It was more like, I'm already doing the radio show. How much could it cost to make an RSS feed, basically?
Right.
And that was the first one in the fall of 2004. It was, I think, probably one of the first 10 podcasts, real, RSS feed podcasts. And then we started to expand, but we bootstrapped it. If it weren't for you, it might not have existed at all because I was kind of naive about the whole thing.
I didn't subscribe a lot, if that was...
No. You knew you did more than that. We're there. First thing I had a website, right? And you'd go to the website, you download, and that worked for the first 5,000 people. But, then it's 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000, and the website's dead. So we started begging people to seed BitTorrents. And we made like onesie twosie deals. We had AOL Radio took a couple of shows, and these are still just audio, so they're not even that big. And you called me and you said, Cashfly can help you. And that was we would not literally, I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your skirt.
Go on.
You like it, don't you? The bandwidth would have been prohibitive. So that was the thing that I couldn't afford. Everything else was, pretty straightforward. We bootstrapped everything. Podcasting's cheap. You could do it with a laptop.
Yeah.
And that's why there are literally, I don't know, like 10 million podcasts.
Yeah.
There's millions of podcasts because anyone could start one. That was the big difference when I went from mainstream media to podcasting. Was in mainstream media, you think of people as an audience. you think of them as, you're up on the podium and you're talking to them and they just sit there rapt and listen. And I really believe that podcasting and any creative, it's about, I think every creator I talk to agrees with this. It's about community. You're creating a community around what you're doing. And that's extremely powerful. It's extremely sticky if you do it right. Those people stick with you for years. And of course, AI is never I'm not worried about AI. I have literally hundreds of thousands of hours of audio and video recordings of myself available publicly. I am sure generating an almost exact AI duplicate of me would be trivial. And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't worry me in the least, because I know that people have an affinity for a human. Now, to the degree an AI can pose as a human, maybe in the years to come, you can create a perfect AI buddy. That'll be interesting. That's very Black Mirror, if you ask me.
I was going to say, there's been a movie or two about this, I think.
Yeah, I suppose it could happen, right? I don't know. That's really comes down to the fundamental question about humans versus AI is, what is it that we have that AI and a machine can't have? And it's a religious conversation. Do we have a soul? Is there something that a machine can never duplicate? And if you're a rationalist, as many of our hosts are, we have this conversation a lot. They say, no, nothing happens up here in the brain that can't happen in an AI. And so ultimately, as AI gets faster, better, it's going to be indistinguishable. They really believe AGI is around the corner. And then there are some people, and I think I'm maybe more in this camp, who think there is something ineffable about humans that a machine could never quite grasp. Well, I hope that's true.
In your words, 20 years or so, where has podcasting and TWiT, where did it start? Where are we now? And then where do you see podcasting 10 years from now?
Boy, that's a really tough question. So we were very lucky because I had already an audience from somebody once tried to insult me saying, you're a minor celebrity on an unknown cable network. And I said, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I wanted. But I was able to translate that into a following in podcasting. And I feel very fortunate that I've been able to do this for 20 years. It's mind blowing. It didn't exist when I was getting out of school. It's like, oh, I'm going to be a podcaster. What's that? I have a career that is unheard of, except that it really is kind of like the radio career that I always wanted. But I'm my own boss. I have my own company. It's funny, when I started in radio, every DJ I knew said, someday I'm going to own a radio station. And in a way, I kind of did that. So I'm very satisfied with that. I understand that what we do on TWiT is kind of old school. Isn't that amazing? We're old school podcasting. I don't know if that term is going to survive in the world of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And I think one thing that's obvious is that people don't watch TV anymore; they watch YouTube.
Right.
That the networks and to some degree the streamers even have a real problem ahead of them because nobody under 25 watches anything but YouTube.
Yeah.
I wonder if Google's going to keep that monopoly. I think at some point there will be other sources for it. But what people have told us old school media types is we want genuine, passionate people talking about things they care about in an unadorned, unaffected way. We want authenticity. And so I'd bet on that. And it really is what we were talking about earlier. It is your social circle. It is your friends. It's your people. So to the degree that I shouldn't say podcaster, a host a person can create an audience that considers them their best friend, that's the degree of success you'll have. And I think that's not going away. We need it more than ever, don't we?
Yeah. Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers.
This is different, another round, so much more to talk about. Gonna aim to satisfy with help from CashFly. Get to it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast. The Anycast podcast, brought to you by CashFly.